Welcome to this lesson on algebra, right expressions. Please make sure you have these notes in front of you so we can begin our lesson. The learning objective for today says I can write phrases as algebraic expressions. So basically what you're doing is you're taking words and sentences and making them look like mathematical problems. So on this slide we're going to talk about the vocabulary and our key concepts. In a previous lesson, you learned that algebraic expressions consist of numbers, variables, and operations. So this is an example of an algebraic expression because it has numbers, a variable, and an operation sign. In this slide, we're going to look for the following keywords and phrases in sentences. Anytime you see these keywords in a sentence, you're going to assume that they're one of the following vocabulary words. So let's take a look at the addition box. The sum of, plus, increased by, and more than all mean addition. The words added to also mean addition, but it's not on our word bank, but I want us to include it on this slide just so that you're aware of it. So I went ahead and crossed them out so I don't use them again. Now let's talk about the words that mean subtraction. The difference of, decreased by, less, minus, less than, and I'm going to put a star next to this one because this is a special word. Another special word was added to, so go ahead and put a star next to that. And finally, we have the word subtracted from, which is another special word, so let's go ahead and put a star right next to that. So I went ahead and crossed out all the words we use for subtraction. So let's go ahead and zoom in on multiplication and talk about all the words from the list that mean multiplication. The product of means multiplication, and times mean multiplication. So I went ahead and crossed out all the words that I've used for multiplication so I do not use them again. So now let's zoom in and talk about all the words that mean division. The quotient of, into, and let's go ahead and put a star next to the word into because that's a special word, and divided by. All these words mean division. So I went ahead and crossed out all the words that I use for division. If you notice, we have the word is, which means equals. So you draw an equal sign. Anytime you see the word is, that's an equal sign. Whenever you see the word a number, think of a variable. So like x or y, those are variables. So anytime you see a number, let's call it a variable. And then going back to the word is really quickly, since we're talking about algebraic expressions, there are no equal signs in algebraic expressions, but I want you to be aware of the word is, which means equals, when we talk about equations. So once again, algebraic expressions will not have any equal signs. Alright, so in our last box we have something called taffy words. Taffy words, let me zoom in on that, are words which require you to flip. So anytime you see the taffy words, you need to flip the order of the numbers. So the T in taffy stands for than. Anytime you see the word than, you're going to flip the order of the numbers. The A in taffy stands for added to. Anytime you see the words added to, you're going to flip the order of the numbers. The F in taffy stands for from. Anytime you see the words from, you're going to flip the order of the numbers. And the I in taffy stands for into. Anytime you see the words into, you're going to flip the order of the numbers. Notice all the taffy words have little stars next to them. So anytime you see those words, you're going to flip the order of the numbers. Actually, I lied. I forgot to put a little star next to the one that says more than. So go ahead and do that as well. So let's use these key concepts to solve the following examples. Example 1 says translate the phrase into an algebraic expression. So I've got two different problems on this slide. The first problem on the left says the sum of 8 and a number. I'm going to underline the word sum because that's one of the key words that we talked about in the previous slide. A number is another key word that we talked about in the previous slide. I know that the word sum means plus, so I'm going to put a plus sign here. So they said the sum of 8 and a number. Anytime they talk about a number, they're talking about a variable. So the sum of 8 and a number would be 8 plus y. So I just made this written statement look like an algebraic expression. And once again, this is an algebraic expression because it has a number, it has an operation sign, and it has a variable. On the right-hand side, we're going to translate this phrase into an algebraic expression. It says $9 more than Sally. So I'm going to underline the word more than. I know that more than from the vocabulary slide means plus. And if I write this way, it's going to say 9 more than Sally. I'm going to call Sally S because I don't know how much money Sally has. So most people want to stop after solving it like this. We've got our algebraic expression, but it's not completed because remember, more than or than is a taffy word, which means we need to flip the order of our numbers. So this would be not the answer we're looking for. We're not looking for that answer. The answer I'm looking for is to flip the order of the numbers. So because it says than, my answer should be S plus 9 because I flipped the order of the numbers. Example 2 says translate the phrases into algebraic expressions. And once again, I have two examples on this slide. The first example on the left says the difference of 24 and a number. So I'm going to underline the word difference. And I know that difference means subtraction. So I'm going to draw a subtraction sign. It says the difference of 24 and a number. Well, I don't know what number they're talking about, so I'm going to refer to that as a variable. So 24 minus x. This is an algebraic expression because 24 is a number, it has an operation sign, and it has a variable. On the right-hand side, let's go ahead and translate this phrase into an algebraic expression. 12 points less than David's score. So I'm going to underline the words less than. So it's going to say 12 less than, which means subtraction. David's score I'm going to call D because I don't know David's score. So it could be any number in the world. Let's call it D. So once again, most people want to stop after writing 12 minus D. However, this is a taffy word, which means we need to flip the order of our numbers. So this is definitely the incorrect answer. You can't do 12 minus D. The correct answer should be D minus 12. Because it says 12 points less than David. So you're taking points away from David. So this is an algebraic expression because it has a variable, it has an operation sign, and it has a number. So go ahead and pause the video and complete these got it problems, and then we'll discuss the answers in class tomorrow. Notice I've got two got it problems on this slide. I've got it problem A and got it problem B. Okay, so example 3 says translate the phrases into an algebraic expression, and we've got two different phrases on this slide. So let's take a look at the phrase on the left-hand side that says the product of 5 and a number. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and underline the word product because that's one of the key words that we've talked about on the vocabulary slide. And the other one that we talked about was a number. Remember, anytime they say a number, it could be any number in the world. So we're going to refer to that as a variable. So 5 times a number, which could be 5 times W. You could also write this as 5 times W, and the multiplication is shown when you have a number standing next to a parentheses. We could also write 5 times W as 5W. So all three ways are the correct way of showing it. This would probably be the most common way that you would be seeing it in algebra. So 5W means 5 times W. Notice I don't have any taffy words in here, so I'm not going to flip the order of my numbers. On the right-hand side, we have this phrase that says 12 times Allison's bank account. So I'm going to underline the word times, which means multiplication. So I'm going to say 12 times Allison's bank account. I don't know how much money Allison has in her bank account, so let's call that A. 12 times A. Or you can write 12 parentheses A. That means 12 times A. Or the most common way of seeing it is 12 with an A standing next to it. So this means multiplication. All three ways, multiplication. Notice I didn't flip the order of my numbers because there's no taffy words in our statement. Alright, so example 4 says translate the phrase into an algebraic expression, and we've got two different problems here. So let's zoom in on the left-hand side. That says the quotient of 35 and a number. Let's go ahead and underline the word quotient, and we know that the word quotient means to divide. We're going to take 35, and we're going to divide it by a number. We don't know that number, so let's call that C. So this is the way you can write that algebraic expression. 35 divided by C. Or you can write it like this. 35 divided by C. So there's no taffy words here, so we're not going to flip any of the order. The problem on the right-hand side of the note says 15 into 45. Well, I'm going to change this problem because 15 into 45, it's not going to give me an algebraic expression because it has two numbers. It's going to give me a numerical expression, and I don't want a numerical expression. So let's change this problem up a little bit. Let's change the 15 into an x. So our problem says x into 15. What I'm going to do is I'm going to underline the word into. And into means to divide. So we're going to write our problem as x divided by 45. But notice into is a taffy word. So we're going to have to make sure we flip the order of the numbers. So this is the incorrect answer. We're going to have to flip it, which means 45 should come first, divided by x. That's an algebraic expression because it has a number, an operation sign, and a variable. We can also write it like this. 45 divided by x. So go ahead and pause this video and complete the got it problems, and we'll discuss the answers in class tomorrow. Notice we've got two got it problems on this slide. We've got it problem C and got it problem D. Example 5 says, write the phrase 5 less than 3 times the number of points as an algebraic expression. So let's go ahead and underline all the important information that we know. We see the word less than, we see the word times, and we see number of points. So I don't know the number of points that they're talking about. So I'm going to assume that they're talking about a variable. And let's call this variable x. So 5 less than, which means subtraction, 3 times a number. But notice this is a taffy word. So we're going to have to flip the order. So we're going to say 3x minus 5. And that's the correct algebraic expression. Example 6 says translate the phrase into an algebraic expression. And the phrase says the quantity of a plus b divided by 4. So let's underline some of the important information. They're giving us plus and they're giving us divided by. I didn't mention this before, but anytime they give you the word the quantity, they're talking about parentheses. So the quantity means parentheses. So I'm going to say the quantity of a plus b. Then the second part says divided by 4. Or you can write it like this. The quantity of a plus b divided by 4. Both ways are the correct algebraic expression. So go ahead and complete these got it problems by pausing the video. Notice I've got two got it problems on this slide, got it problem E and got it problem F. So now that we've completed this lesson, go ahead and self-rate yourself and let us know how you feel. If there's any part of this lesson that you do not understand, please go back and watch it again and come to class with some questions.